begrüße euch ganz herzlich zu unserem heutigen Impuls der Woche. Und heute haben wir eine große Besonderheit. Der heutige Impuls der Woche, der wechselt jetzt die Sprache. Because we have a guest here. Greg, I'm really happy that you're here with us. And doing this interview, you are coming to our church quite a bit of time. 3 years already.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. And you're originally from England, working in Spain, as far as I know. Who are you and why are you here?
Oh, that's a tough question to start with, Daniel. Okay, who am I? Well, I was born in England, but my mother's Welsh, my father's American. And when I was fairly young, I started to travel and ended up in Spain. I studied art, but I began to teach art when I was a bit older. I came to Germany because I really was interested in the place. I wanted to work in a different environment, and I started working in a school near here called Salem's International School.
Yeah, we know it as Salem College.
That's right, yeah.
And you have a really special project within our church. You're doing a big art project up at the hill, at the Vater unser Erlebnisweg.
Yeah, it's very special, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be involved. I remember almost 2 years ago we were talking, and you started to talk about a great project that involved installations and various sites and sculptures around the area. I was fascinated, and we started to talk about this amazing tank. And I remember occasionally we would just talk backwards and forwards about ideas. And just as I was about to leave Germany, you said, I want you to do something.
Yes.
You gave me a great challenge.
Yeah, and you will leave Germany, as far as I know, at the end of July.
That's right.
So we had to hurry up to finish that project, but it worked out. And we will now go up the hill and see what you did and what your project was. And afterwards we will talk about this.
Okay, great.
Yeah, Greg, you really painted an impressive picture. Okay. So I see these waves and these pyramids and the mountains and all these fruits. Yeah. Can you explain what's the deeper meaning of this picture?
Yeah, it is complex, but it's basically based on Exodus. And what I was trying to do was to condense the whole of Exodus, which is a huge, huge story, into 3 really pivotal parts. The first one, the big wave, represents the Israelites actually escaping from Egypt, actually being led by God through the water. The second one is Mount Sinai, or Mount Horeb, where Moses and the whole community of the Israelites actually met. And this was where I think the Israelites actually found their identity, and they obviously received the commandments. And then finally, the last part is like, I call it the orchard. And it's really to show that there is fruit, there is life after meeting with God, and the Israelites obviously went into Israel. So those are like symbols that each part represents.
And this picture is part of the Our Father way we have here in that church. Is there a relationship to that path and to the Our Father prayer?
Yes, I really hope so. I believe there is. I mean, just firstly, the tank itself representing water, and water is just such a symbolic thing that you can have that talks about so many things, about cleansing, about being pure, etc. But I think the actual location above it, where there's a giant cross, which talks obviously of resurrection and salvation, and I think if you go under there into the tank where the actual mural is, this is another story about salvation and protection. So I think there's a relationship in that particular site, for that work.
And your picture. So we see now your picture. What does your picture say about God and living with God?
Okay. I could talk a long time for that.
Yeah, take your time.
But I'll try and keep it. I'll try and keep it short. I mean, obviously, there's a sort of relationship with the New Testament and going through maybe a crisis, going through something very difficult in your life. Before I was a Christian, I had quite a few difficulties, so I relate to that area which was complex, where everything you tried would go wrong. For me, the wave crashing down on the pyramids is a bit like life being broken down and being destroyed, and you're not getting anywhere. Then the mountain is like hope. You can actually find hope in our faith with Jesus, and that through that hope you will find new life. You will find satisfaction, peace, and direction. It doesn't all come at once, and it didn't come all at once for the Israelites. It took a long, long journey to try and find this life. But yes, so for me, this has a very close connection.
So it's like a lifelong path. What you painted, is it like a? Yeah,
it's a path. Yeah, it's a journey.
A journey.
A journey. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You were working with contrasts. You told me that, so I knew it and I saw it already. So can you explain a few of these contrasts and what you want to tell us with that?
Okay, yeah. It's interesting when you asked that question, it made me think a lot about how many different types of contrasts you could actually put in the painting, and actually this one particularly has a lot. First is this contrast of dark and light. Okay, and this is an artistic technique. We call it negative space, and it actually makes the motif, the main theme, stand out. So that's the first thing. If you use dark and light, then it will automatically achieve that. But also there's a contrast between warm and cold colors. The wave is cool colors, greens, blues, blacks. That is really to try and contrast the past with the more brighter colors of the fruit, the reds, the oranges, which also creates a different contrast. Also, the actual design of the mural, the left-hand side is very geometric.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's almost. I try to base it a little bit on mathematics and the golden section. So the pyramids are very hard and very man-made. So there's a bit of a pattern going on. But then, as you came out from there, it becomes much more organic. And for me, I particularly enjoy that with nature, just how the curves, the wavy lines, things you find a lot in nature. So that's another contrast. So that's why I try to use that.
Okay. Yeah. It works a lot. If I stand there and look at it, I see it, and I see this difference between the colors and the lines and everything. Yeah. And the whole thing is also a special shape.
Yes, that's right.
So can you tell something about this?
Well, the composition is like a triangle, I suppose. That's the main thing, and it's again we're going back to this idea of journeys and pathways. So you can follow a kind of journey all the way through the different shapes, and it very much from the left to the right. And hopefully you can see it going up to the hill, coming down again, and then shaped like that. A little bit influenced by Celtic art, I looked a lot at early Christian art and different shapes and eternity with shapes going into shapes, that sort of thing, which I've been looking at recently. And that helped me quite a lot in the design. But I didn't want to do an old type of style. I tried to find something a bit new.
And yeah, I think you did a good job on it.
Oh,
on
thanks.
that. Which one was the hardest part for you to paint?
All right, okay. Well, I should say all of it, right? But to be honest with you, the designs came quite quickly. The ideas, after a bit of a bit of research, the individual designs came relatively quickly. What was the most difficult was trying to make how it all joins together. Yeah, that was the difficult part because it has to complement each other. And that's why, again, going back to contrasts, the idea is to build the contrast together so that it kind of, the complexity then becomes simple. So that's why we try to work. I try to work it in that way. So yeah, that was complex in that sense. Fortunately, you were there, and we talked a lot about if it works, does it work, not, and I think that helped me.
Okay, great. Hey, and which part do you like the most of the whole picture?
Yeah, you know what? I thought I was always going to be, going for the wave, because I've in my own work, I've been working with a lot about water for at least 6 or 7 years. So I've traveled in different parts of particularly Europe, and wherever I go, I look at the water, I draw it, I sketch it, and I usually make some kind of painting from those experiences. So the wave was really special, but it was strange. I kept on going back from the wave to the fruit, from the fruit to the wave, and I think partially because the fruits had to be the most important part. Yeah. And it kind of said it. It kind of became more important. And a relationship that it has with the fruit is also that, because I've been in Germany, unfortunately not good enough to do an interview in German, but I enjoy the nature of obviously German people, but the surrounding area. So and there's fruit everywhere. It's like a natural orchard. So that too, I feel, is like the most emblematic of this part of Germany. So yeah, for me that's also important.
It fits together, but like the fruits you painted, they don't grow here.
Well, they do in the supermarkets.
So is it like, have these fruits in itself a special symbolic or a special meaning, or is it like you just went shopping and took some nice fruits?
Yes, I just wanted to get exotic. Well, it's strange. I live on a farm, and on the farm there is vineyards. Yep. And so the leaves are from vineyards, and actually from the drawings from the farm. And there's a little bit of grapes beginning to form. So there's a little bits there of a little bit of natural Germany, it's true. But no, the pomegranate is quite symbolic in the Bible. Yep. It is to do with blessings and growth, and so that's mentioned even in Exodus. That's actually there. Figs, of course. Well, it's not quite a fig, but figs also relates a little bit to that area as well. I must admit, though, the artichoke, I just like the shape.
Okay, so this is your personal thing.
That for me is okay. That looks like fun to draw, so I just did it.
Yeah, Greg, thank you for painting this impressive picture. And we want people to come and enjoy this picture, but not just enjoy. Think about it. Think about God. Get into relationship to the whole thing. Exodus story. God is a God who makes us free, and all that stuff. So, about which type of compliment would you be happy the most, or I don't know how to formulate it.
Yeah, sure. No, again, that's a complex question, because the painting can be interpreted in lots of different ways. I didn't want to make it too obvious what it was supposed to mean, and so from a simple level, if people get pleasure, obviously they like to look at the artwork, then that's a huge compliment for me, and that means it's communicated something. But deep down, I think art has to communicate. It has to have a meaning. Yeah. And if it inspires a bit of reflection about, well, look, God is in control. Life can be tough. It can be difficult. But God has always looked after us. He has always protected us. Then I think that if people can reflect a bit on this and know that there will be everlasting life, there will be fruit, there will be peace, there will be, then that would be the most incredible compliment I think we could get from it.
So let's hope and pray that will work out and people read this picture for their lives and get inspired and get new hope and look up to God. That would be really, really great.
Well, I hope so.
And thank you for your work and support also our church here and being part of our community. It was really great to have you here.
Yeah.
So is there a German sentence you could say to our church?
You're going to challenge me now. Okay. Well, vielen Dank, Daniel. Ich bin froh. Ist fantastisch und wunderbar Arbeit hier in dieser Kirche,
Kirche.
Ich hoffe, zurückkommen.
Would be nice. So we welcome you at any time. Please come back.
Okay.
Bring your wife with
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So